Hey everybody, Chad here. In this video, we're going to talk about acting as if. And of course, I'm going to put a spin on it a little bit. So it won't be, if you've heard acting as if before, I'm going to put a little spin on it that you might not have heard of before or thought about before. But anyway, it's nighttime. I'm in Thailand. So lighting might be a little bit off, but it's really about the information, not so much the lighting. But anyway, let's get rocking and rolling. Acting as if. Now, let's go through just a quick little premise, what it is, just in case you haven't heard it before. I mean, acting as if is really, they really teach it in law of attraction, but they also teach it in like success coaching and stuff like that. Like in the law of attraction, the whole point is of being able to, kind of the whole principle is being able to attract what you want. You have to put yourself into an emotional state. Okay, that's what kind of what a law of attraction is. Law of attraction, there's several different avenues, several different definitions, several different ways we can explain it. But in this section, as far as acting as if, law of attraction is based on emotion, emotional state. And that's what attracts things to you depending upon the emotion you're giving it. What I mean by we have positive emotions, we have negative emotions. So we really have to be careful, of our emotional state. We have to be careful of, are we positive, excited, we want it to happen, versus are we angry, mad, fear, worry, doubt, and all this stuff. So, so if we're in these emotional states too long, that's what kind of gets attracted to us. So that being said, a lot of times they're used acting as if with inside law of attraction. Now, the easiest way to explain it is they usually use it in success coaching, meaning like, for example, like if I want to be, and Jack Canfield, used to use this, and he might still use it, used to use this in his workshops. If you were in like a 3-day or a week workshop with him, like at least one day would be like an acting as if, or one evening would be acting as if. So what would happen is, if, let's say, for example, you wanted to be a famous author and you want to have 5 New York best-selling books of all time. So acting as if is I would show up to the event, dressed like a famous author, acting as a famous author. I would have my books. Maybe I made some books and stuff like that. And so the whole point is, for the whole evening, is when you're walking around and talking to people, introducing yourself, they ask you what you do, then you tell them that, hey, I'm Chad, I'm a famous author, or I'm, whatever you want to say. I'm Chad, I'm a famous author. I wrote this book, this book, this book. These are all top-selling books. I sold like 1 million copies. So the whole evening you're staying in this state. You're kind of, you could kind of playing like an acting part. If you ever been like an actor or actress, been in a play, that's pretty much what you're doing. You're kind of playing imagination, but besides just sitting there and thinking imagination, you're acting it out. And when you do this, it really brings up your state. I mean, people have a lot of fun with it, but it really brings up your emotional state. So that's really what acting as if is. Just like if if you want if you desire a certain type of house, dream house, you act as if you already have it. A dream car, you act as if you already have it. You act as if you're driving it, so forth and so forth. You play the part, okay? So it's a little bit kind of a step, I want to say a step up from imagination, but you're kind of acting out the part, almost like a kid, you're acting out the part, okay? So that's really acting as if. Acting as if your desires are already here, you're in the moment, and that's why they kind of really use it in success, because if people want to be a famous author or an actor, famous actor, or it's the same thing. They would show up to the event, they're a famous actor, the name, these are the top movies they've been in, the biggest blockbuster movies they've been in, and so forth and so forth. So that's acting as if, okay? It's really, really powerful. Now, the spin on it I want to do is, it doesn't have to be only for success. It doesn't have to be only for, money and career and house and boat and all this stuff, okay? Acting as if can be more personal, okay? And let me give you an example. Maybe you haven't seen somebody for a long time. Maybe you haven't seen your significant other for a couple months because they've been really busy and you really want to see them. So act as if they're coming over. Make sense? You role play. Now, I did a video on this before, and I talked about imagination, where before you go to bed, when you do go to bed, you imagine how it would feel like them showing up, knocking on your door. You imagine you opening it and what you say. You hug them, you kiss them, what you're going to say to them. You invite him in, what type of conversation you're going to have. You imagine all this stuff in your mind, okay? Now the next step to this can be a little bit corny if you think about it, but it could be act as if. Now you're taking your imagination and you act as if you receive that text, they're coming over. You haven't seen them for a couple months. You act as if you're opening the door. So you role play it. Now, of course, you're by yourself and not in front of people. They might think you're nuts and cuckoo, but you act as if. But when you do this, it brings up your emotional state. Okay? And when it brings up your emotional state, you're more likely to attract it. So that's the whole point, because what we're doing is, we're tricking our subconscious mind. Okay, remember, our subconscious mind, and I haven't said this in a video for a long time, our subconscious mind cannot, okay, now let's repeat this, cannot dictate between false and true. It cannot dictate between what's in reality and what's not in reality. Make sense? That's why when you go to bed at night, you wake up in the morning, you have affirmations, you do imagination on your top goal that you want, or what you want. You have an imagination on that. You maybe it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes before you go to sleep. That's what you're thinking about on your role playing in your mind until you go to sleep. Okay, because the subconscious mind cannot dictate what's real and what's not. Okay, and when you're in that sleepy state, your subconscious mind is more aware than your conscious mind. Okay, so it's the same idea when we're doing acting as if. Now, acting as if, we're taking our imagination, but we're acting it out. Okay, so if I haven't seen my significant other for a couple months, but they've been super busy, whatever. We've been texting, of course, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to act as if I received a text from them and they're coming over. And then I'm going to kind of run through almost like a little movie scene or a little acting scene by myself. I'm gonna pretend I'm gonna actually go over and physically do it, like open up the door, greet them, have them come in, and so forth and so forth. That's acting as if. So it's a little bit of different spin on it, but you can use it in different ways. Makes sense? You don't always have to use it in a successful money type of object. Okay, you can use it in this way as I'm talking as well, and that's why I want to share with you. You can use these techniques. I mean, there's all types of ways you can use these techniques that kind of make it fun, and it keeps it up here. And sooner or later, you will attract it. And what I love, I'm gonna actually put this on my channel. It was by, I have to find it again, but it was one of the best speeches I found from, oh shoot, I forgot his name now. It's Goddard, Neville, Neville Goddard. And he's a very, very old school law of attraction. And he talks about imagination. And really imagination is the secret, is really the key ingredient. There's really a secret behind law of attraction. And it's like a 19-minute audio. And it's probably the best one I've ever heard from him on imagination. And it's crazy, crazy good. So I'm gonna put that on my channel because it just makes it, dude, I mean, honestly, it's so good. And some of his stuff is kind of confusing. You really have to sit there and listen. But this one's just kind of, this one is so good. I actually feel like listening to it right when I get off, when I stop this video. But anyway, let's wrap this up. I'm kind of rambling, getting excited. But that's acting as if. Just remember, it doesn't have to be based on, money, goals, career. You can use it in the example I gave. You can use it for you haven't seen your significant other. You can use it for, let's say you're in college and you're waiting for an acceptance letter. You can actually make your own acceptance letter, put it in an envelope, put it in the mail, and you get up and you actually act as if you're walking in a mailbox. You get it and you get excited and you open it and you read it. You can do that kind of stuff. That's a lot of power in that and imagination. Then on top of doing everything else, let's put this together a little bit. Then I'll let you guys go. On top of, if you're doing acting as if on top of you're doing your night routine before you go to bed, or right when you go to bed, you're doing your morning routine. Okay, you got night and morning, you're doing the same imagination, okay? Then you have your affirmations throughout the day, just because you don't start doubting, you don't start worrying and stuff like that. So you have your imagination to help kind of control that. You have your gratitude pad, so you actually write it out. There's a lot of power in writing. Then you can do a 5-minute meditation on it, or either a 5-minute meditation or acting as if. So if you're doing that consistently on your goal, on what you want to achieve, on whatever you want, whatever you're focused on, you want. If you're doing that daily, it's going to happen 100%. And that's what I love about Neville Goddard. I always butcher his name. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. But in that audio, he states that in his experience, in all his life experience, it works 100%. He doesn't say sometimes. He says 100% it works. And I love that. But anyway, my friends, I'm going to let you guys go. Been chatting. But anyway, power to you, and I'll see you in the next video.